Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to Parenthood. I'm Neha, and this is a space where we have honest, thoughtful conversations about parenthood. Not just the beautiful moments, but also the questions, negotiations, and shifts that come with raising children while trying to build meaningful lives. Parenting today often looks very different from what many of us grew up seeing. Roles are shifting, expectations are changing, families are constantly figuring out new ways to divide responsibilities and support one another. And today's conversation is about exactly that. I am joined by Sumit, a self employed HR leader who works from home, father to almost 8-year-old Samiah, and partner to Kirti. What I find particularly interesting about their family dynamic is that they've consciously and perhaps organically flipped what many people still think of as the traditional script. Kirti goes out to work while Sumit works primarily from home and has taken on a significant part of the day to day parenting rhythm. Their relationship, as Sumit describes it, is deeply equal, built on friendship, trust, and the knowledge that there is always someone there to catch you if you stumble. And I'm really curious to unpack what that looks like in practice. Sumit, I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to Parenthood.
Thank you so much, Neha. Like I said earlier, I'm suitably nervous about the conversation because parenting is such a complex topic. I don't even know what I have to share or talk about and whether it would be meaningful for anyone else or not.
That's for us to decide. You just tell us
Fair.
about your family to start with. Who's Samya? What kind of a child she is?
Um, since this is on the record, I'll only say the good things. So she's an 8-year-old who I think is growing up to be an absolutely amazing child, and she's uh, she's got a love for animals, she's got a love for books, and she's always curious about new things. So I think we've been able to pass on some of the right interests and hobbies to her, and she's also becoming a bit of a free spirit and someone who's an independent thinker. For example, if she sees somebody engaging in cruelty towards an animal or a small child by the side of the road, she will stop and admonish them on their own. So she won't send me and say, "You go scold that person." She'll stop and say, "Ye kya kar rahe ho? What are you doing and why are you doing this?"
Wow. Wow.
So, and of course, I think she's doing well in her class as well. So overall, a nice, friendly, probably a regular 8-year-old and what they're supposed to be.
Uh-huh. And let's talk about Kirti. How did you two meet and how has your relationship evolved over all these years together?
So interestingly, and by I mean just coincidentally, we celebrated 14 years together yesterday.
Oh, wow.
It was
Congratulations.
our Thank you so much. It was our 14th anniversary, and incidentally, my parents they celebrated their 46th anniversary a day before ours.
Wow.
So we had a double celebration last evening, and um, I think our relationship has always been one of a lot of trust.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's been, of course, we have a lot of disagreements about certain topics as well. Luckily, not about politics or religion. So, which is why we've been able to celebrate 14 years together.
Yeah.
Um, but I think one of the foundational elements of our relationship is the fact that we're very open to experimentation, new ideas, and we don't necessarily subscribe to what are the traditional tried and tested ways of doing things. So
Yeah.
I mean, whether it's parenting, whether it's life, whether it's work, we're, I'd say, fairly innovative, or we're fairly open to um, doing and trying out new things.
Yeah. Yeah. And trying out new things on that note, like, your parenting arrangement, so to say, it flips the traditional script in many ways, the script that many of us grew up with. How did that arrangement came about?
So this is back in 2019 when Samia was just under 2 years old. I
Mhm.
was traveling a lot. I was in a large consulting firm and essentially used to be home once a fortnight or so, and just for a
Wow.
couple of days. So before the world went remote, I was acting as a remote parent,
Hmm.
talking to my daughter only on video call, as and when the schedule allowed. And that was deeply dissatisfying because before we had a child, we'd spoken about parenting, we'd spoken about the need for equal parenting, and also to show a child that gender roles are not watertight. So they're not women cook and clean and men are the breadwinners who step out of the house. No. Um, and my last role, in fact, I was deployed in Colombo, and I used to travel overseas every week. So
Wow.
um, Sunday around midnight, I'd be rushing off to the airport, taking a night flight, getting to office in the morning, working for the entire week, and Friday night making the reverse journey. So Saturday morning, coming back home half dead, extremely grumpy, and not really in the mood for answering million questions that a toddler has. So that made me think that is this really the life I'd like to live? And probably someday soon drop dead of a heart attack or something of that sort.
Mm.
Um, so without a plan, I decided to basically just quit, see how to make things work as an independent consultant. So I do love consulting, but at the same time, I of course also love my family, and therefore
Mm.
there's no contest there as such. Um, so I didn't want to pick up a different non-consulting kind of a role. There were plenty of roles on offer, but the idea was consulting, but on a little bit of my own terms and based on my own schedule. That's how the arrangement came about. So it
Yeah.
was an experiment to begin with. Excuse me. And I really enjoy the time I've had with Samya ever since we have a dog and three cats as well. So
Wow.
it's fun to be able to spend time with the entire family.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes society has fairly rigid expectations about what fathers and mothers should do. Did you ever encounter comments, assumptions, or subtle judgments because you were the parent now more present at home?
Um, yes and no. So when I conveyed this decision to our HR leader um, in my firm, he said he said something which struck me as very funny. He said that's a very brave and courageous decision
Hmm.
to take a career step back for parenting of your family.
Hmm.
And my question to him was, would you have said the same to a female colleague as well?
Yeah.
And he was quiet for a few seconds and then said, "Thank you for showing me the mirror,"
Mm-hmm.
because he is in fact a huge inclusion and diversity advocate. Uh,
Wow.
but he was gracious enough to accept that he'd stepped out of line with this one, and he said, "Thanks for correcting me. It's a learning journey, and this is exactly the thing we need to solve in terms of inclusion." So there's been all of that. Like I'm a regular at school activities and a volunteer at various school events, and usually out of 10, 15 parent volunteers, it's either me or maybe one or two other dads who are present. And a lot of the school WhatsApp groups will say, so dear mommies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I, just for fun, I end up correcting them that there are one or two dads here as well. So hello there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's been, I mean, I think a lot of people have used words like courage,
Hmm.
um, innovative
Hmm.
decision, stuff like that. And my usual response to them is the same, that if your reaction stays the same when gender roles are reversed, then the reaction is fair. Otherwise, you need to
Mm.
think about it.
Yeah, yeah. True, true. You know, I that just makes me think about me calling you on the podcast as well. Like, would I have the same level of curiosity if it was a woman? And generally it is the case, the woman really steps back and in her career to take care of the family. But I also think what is significant here is also the kind of society we are living in, where traditional roles, of course, they are being challenged. So that is the whole thing. The roles are being challenged, and the men who are stepping up to challenge those roles have kind of become our heroes, and they need to be celebrated in that sense. So I do see that, that conundrum there. Do you feel that? What is your take on that?
So that's a little funny to me because I think the way we've structured society is that um, if a man does the bare minimum when it comes to any kind of gender equity or gender equality thing, we're ready with our medals to hand it over to the man. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's very easy for me to still center this about on myself and say that yes, I'm a hero, hail me,
Yeah.
when there are a million women who've basically taken the same journey and we just say, yeah, fine, they're women, they have to do it. They should do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't really think, yes, I do think these conversations are important. So I get
Mm.
the conundrum because um, more people of my gender need to see that this can be the norm and there's no reason why it shouldn't be the norm.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't think we're heroes. I think we're just maybe restoring the balance of the universe a little bit.
Yeah. And thank you for doing that. And tell me, do you think this arrangement has shaped the kind of father you are today?
Oh, absolutely. Since I spent so much time with Samia, I mean, it's a learning journey for me as well. To see a child growing up, to see myself in a more responsible position when I'm around her, because obviously kids do pick up those behavioral cues with their observation of parents, and so a lot of time that observation is also unconscious, so they unconsciously mimic those behaviors. And I'm hoping she's picking up more of the positive ones than the negative ones from me.
Yeah. Yeah. And tell me, from your perspective, what does an actively involved father look like?
Hmm. I think active involvement, step one is being available to listen.
Hmm.
So right now, or maybe it's right now she's at an age where she will discuss every single thing with me.
Hmm.
So it could be something as minuscule as a fight with a friend. It
Yeah.
could be a larger question about maybe even life.
Hmm.
And I think she's in her own way becoming an inclusion advocate. So she's learning to call out things that are wrong.
Wow.
Um, And one of my favorite examples is that she was sitting in class where another one of her classmates, a boy, was sitting with his legs slightly apart, the typical, I mean, what we call as man spreading in an adult.
Hmm.
So she requested him to sit properly because she didn't have enough space. And he said, this is how boys sit. So she went up and, I mean, she wouldn't take that for an answer. So she went up to the teacher, a male teacher in this case, and um, requested the teacher to get the boy to sit properly. Um, the teacher said something very weird, which was like, this is the international standard with which boys are supposed to sit. So,
Wow.
and she came home and she said, this happened. Do you think it's right? And I was absolutely furious. I told her to, I mean, I didn't react in front of her, but I told her that Thank you for bringing this to my attention. I will take it up and we'll discuss this with the teacher. So I dashed off an email to the school. They coached the teacher, and this one came back very happy, saying, "Thanks for solving this for me, and now I know what's right and what's not." So
Wow.
she's got that confidence that if she's bringing a question up, it will not be ignored. So, of course,
Yeah.
there are times when she could be in the wrong as well, but we can still talk about it. We don't have to um, admonish each other. We can still just have a conversation, figure out what's right and why.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. And walk us through a typical day. What does a regular day in your household look like?
Seriously, with an 8-year-old, you expect there would be a typical day or a regular day? No. Um, but yeah, jokes aside, usually there's a lot of pushing and pulling in the morning around 6 o'clock when I'm sure you know the drill when it's school time and you have to wake up a grumpy, sleepy child, get them to brush, take a shower, get ready. So we've got, I mean, that's where the division of labor begins. Uniform, getting ready, braiding her hair, having her in shape to catch the school bus. That's all my role.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Packing the tiffin is Kirti's role, unless she's traveling, in which case, of course, I wake up a little early and do that as well. So she travels significantly. I think 20 to 30% of her time she does travel.
Wow.
So that's when I do all this. Then I take the dog for a walk, clean up. So again, cleaning up the house is also a divided responsibility where we've got a little bit of automation. So we've got a Roomba thing that sweeps. We've got a dishwasher, but Kirti assists the Roomba in cleaning up properly. I assist the dishwasher in washing dishes properly.
Yeah.
I try and get the major chunk of my work done while Samia's away at school. And then once she's back, we talk about what's happening. I try to give her an afternoon meal. Evenings we head out for some maybe sometimes football. Maybe she wants to go cycling. We go out for a walk with our dog Chia. By the time Kirti is usually back from office, and then they spend some time together, dinner time, reading before bedtime, and then I've got a few US clients as well. Then it's usually time for the evening meetings. So essentially, my work day is divided into two or three different chunks
Yeah.
uh, as needed.
Yeah. Beautiful.
And now
Beautiful.
I mean, on things like weekends, I've started occasionally taking her to my book club as well,
Mm-hmm.
um, where she just sits around with her own book. And of course, people keep coming up to her and talking to her about what she's reading and how it's going and stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are times when I've taken her to client meetings and things, so
Wow.
we do that all the time.
Wow. Yeah, I love that. I love that image, of taking a child. I mean, of course, it comes, it is not that common with women also to take the child to a client meeting, but to a man taking a child to a client meetings is something. I mean, of course, I don't want to glorify and say that, oh my God, you are a hero, but that's where you are, in that sense. I mean, just not just as a person who's doing something for the society in that sense, but at least, having that visibility in a picture. And that's a nice image. That's a very nice image. And my generation of women really, really thanks you to men of your generation, because to see men stepping up is a real heartwarming sight. And I really, really hope the generation that comes after us doesn't have to say these words, doesn't have to, feel this way, doesn't have to think this way. It is as normalized as everybody doing it. So, but thank you for doing what you do. And I want to talk about your village now. They say it takes a village to raise a child. What does your village look like? Who are the people that support you and Kirti as you raise Samya?
I think primarily my parents.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so during the second wave of COVID, that's when by that time they used to live in Chandigarh. We of course were here, um, and I was badly affected. So I was in the ICU for close to a month, and there was a point
Wow.
when the doctors had basically told the family to prepare for whatever rituals and stuff uh, they wanted to do. Um, that's when my parents realized that life is too short to live in different cities, and they sold off their house in Chandigarh, etc., and moved to Gurgaon. Um, and they were living some distance away, so about half an hour, 40 minutes away, typical Gurgaon traffic. Um, Late last year, they moved to within 5 minutes of us.
Wow.
So that makes it a lot easier. It's also taken their equation with Samia to a different level altogether. The other good thing is that their house is essentially on the same bus route. So
Oh,
their house is one stop away from ours. And so half the time, Samia says that I want to get off at Dadi's bus stop today. And they keep doing things like craft, etc. So she's pretty happy. In fact, today she woke up late and we couldn't send her to school. So right now she is with the grandparents where
oh,
Kirti dropped her, and they're doing some fun stuff.
nice, nice.
So basically, that to a large extent is the village. But um, since we also have a dog and three cats, the village does include a couple of people who come in to care for them when I'm away, or in case there are, let's say, conflicting priorities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. And talking of priorities, where do you feel you are in your life journey right now? How do you balance being a parent, a professional, and an individual?
That's a tough question. So it can, and I'll be honest, it can get overwhelming to maintain your individual needs because with aging parents, with a human child, with a dog and multiple cats in the house, plus uh, also being an active animal rescuer, there are times when you have to deprioritize self-care and your own wants and needs to step up for someone else. So it's not always easy,
Yeah.
but I think um, I took this call to spend more time with family and to help Samya in being able to have more time. Maybe I wouldn't say necessarily a better upbringing, but knowing that her parents are available,
Yeah.
I think it also eases some of the pressure of Kirti because she doesn't feel pressed to attend every single school thing. So, of
Yeah.
course, I think some guilt comes naturally with being a mother, um, thanks to social constructs where there often are questions around. So, for example, if I'm taking Samia to a doctor's appointment, there might be some people who are asking, "So, where's your wife?
Hmm.
Or is your wife not available? Is she traveling?"
Hmm.
But again, the answer to that is that I mean, I think I'm fairly competent to handle a vaccination. More so, I don't have to administer the vaccine myself.
Yeah.
So I guess I can do the driving and the paperwork part of it fairly well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you don't
Yeah.
need a specialization in motherhood to do it.
Yeah. 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 Talking of that, what has it been like watching Kirti navigate a demanding career while also being a mother?
So she gets those pangs of guilt a
Mm-hmm.
lot. Ideally, this is her story to tell, not mine. But um, I think she still does feel at times that she is absent.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and she should be there, or and because I keep track of things like doctor's appointments, so taking Samia to the dentist is me, taking her to the pediatrician in case she's unwell is me, occasionally picking her up from school if there's something special, or like yesterday there was a hoax call to some schools in
Yeah.
Gurgaon, so the schools decided to dispatch kids early. So of course, it's also a load off her mind, I think, to know that she doesn't have to drop everything and run.
Yeah.
Um, Especially because not all clients and not all stakeholders understand. So
Hmm.
they often I'm not saying it's the case with her organization, but there definitely are some people around everywhere who tend to think that if you can't handle a client meeting, then perhaps you shouldn't be doing this job.
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
think it takes a hopefully it takes a bit of load off her as well.
Hmm. 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 And in many homes, conversations about equality exist in theory, but not always in practice. How you spoke briefly about how you divide responsibilities, say in the morning, but how do emotional responsibilities and practically how does it look like the division of labor in your house?
Um, so we have a very unconventional division of labor. For example, Kirti is much better with money and financial planning than I am.
Mm-hmm.
So I leave it to her. I am neither interested in meddling in it nor am I good at it. So she can do that. I'm much better at the um, wherever you need relationship building, conversations, keeping track of people's birthdays in the family. So now that I think about it, almost like a role reversal in the typical gendered way of thinking about things.
Yeah.
Also, um, right from when Samia was born, I've been on very active diaper duty.
Mm-hmm.
So um, maybe this is a skill I should put on my CV, that one-handed diaper changes is something I excel at. Um, Probably in the same time it takes a Formula One pit crew to change a tire. So got a lot of these life skills.
Yeah, yeah. And we talked about different things that you do differently. What values are most important to you and Kirti as you raise Samya? How do you try to bring those values into everyday parenting moments with her?
So I don't think we actively focus on values. We just try to live the values that we have of honesty, um, compassion, and equality.
Mm.
And I think we haven't really had to do anything special with Samya. So, for example, by nature, she is a sensitive child. She cares about all animals and living creatures. So, if she sees a child stamping on an ant, she will definitely stop the child. Um, she's known to look around for pieces of paper to help a caterpillar or an ant cross the road.
Yeah.
Um, any dog, cat, cow, any animal, any creature at all, she will stop and try to figure out if she can feed them something, if she can just play or talk to the creature. Um, when it comes to reading, we've been so in our household, one of the rules that we follow is that the phone is not an entertainment device.
Mm.
We've followed that since day one. No reels, no watching stuff in her presence. Therefore, for the longest time, she used it as a communication device. Um, and since Kirti and I both like to read, our house is filled with books,
Mm-hmm.
kind of similar to what I see in your background as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
so Samya's automatically picked up the habit, and
Mm.
she would be delighted to spend time with her books. The other thing is that the value of honesty that we operate with. So completely non-judgmental listening. Like even if
Mm.
she's messed up, she's made a mistake somewhere, there is no instant reaction of, oh, why did you do this? Or this is absolutely wrong. So no labels. We first understand, then we try and engage in conversation. Maybe put yourself in that person's place, and how would you have felt if this had happened to you?
Yeah.
And you decide on whether this is right or wrong and what we should do about it. So
Mm.
we try and nudge her. We don't really do the dictating things to her or instructing her, saying, we are your parents and hence you must do this.
Yeah. 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 And tell me about times when you and Kirti see things differently, which I think happens in every relationship. How do you navigate those moments?
Um, so we try and talk it out.
Mm-hmm.
And there are also times when we basically just leave it at that, saying your opinion versus my opinion. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have to, I mean, both of our opinions could be wrong as far as Samya is concerned. Um, so, for example, Kirti might have a different opinion about 9 to 5s versus self-employment. I might have a different opinion. But I'm not going to, so I'm against the idea of telling Samya which one is better.
Right.
I would want her to figure out, or I would want her to ask us questions where we help her in decoding which one is right for her and at what time.
Mm. Yeah.
But I don't think we have too many other disagreements when it comes to Samya.
Hmm, 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 hmm. That's lovely to hear about because some of the I think day-to-day stress gets taken care of if you are on the same page with regards to most things. And and earlier you spoke about your partnership with Kirti being built on trust and equality. Do you think your parenting dynamic has strengthened that equality, or has it also created new tensions to navigate?
No, I don't think it's created new tensions, except for the guilt aspect that I spoke of.
Hmm.
So, I mean, um, Kirti does feel that way sometimes, that maybe she's not present enough for
Hmm.
Samya.
Hmm.
But my point usually is that as long as Samya's needs are taken care of,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what matters.
Yeah.
And she's a child who will convey if she's feeling like she's not getting enough that time with Mama. So
Hmm.
she's capable enough of saying you need to spend a little more time.
Yeah. 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 Beautiful. Yeah.
I
And
mean, she says she asks all kinds of questions. Like a couple of days ago, she was asking me um, that it's your 14th anniversary, so you've spent 14 years with the same person. Don't you get bored? Have you ever thought of divorcing her? No.
what was your answer?
I said, even if I did, I wouldn't really tell you because you're going to go running to her and uh,
Nice. Oh God, that scares me, the kind of questions, even at 2.5, not 2.5 anymore, almost 3, my son asks those inane questions and suddenly they are like, where did you get that from? And I'm almost excited about what's to come, and these kind of threats and these challenging questions make me look forward to the future even more because it makes it even all the more exciting, I think. Yeah.
and scary. I mean, I have a friend um, I mean, who has a young child, and one of the grandparents was ailing and unfortunately passed away. And
Mm.
when the child asked about the grandparent, the mother said that God called her close to himself, and now she's a star in the sky.
Mm.
So, as luck would have it, after a few months, the opposite side of the grandparents, so from maternal to paternal, the paternal grandparent fell ill.
Mhm.
So basically, my friend's mother-in-law. And the
Hmm.
child goes up to her and says, I think God will call you to himself soon and make you a star. That's what mom was saying.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, it can it can be interesting. Luckily, I don't think anything so drastic has happened with us
Yeah.
in terms
Yeah.
of conversations, but it can be scary.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And talking of that, tell me something that she says or asks you to do, which kind of stumps you, which is like, oh my God, this child can think so much, or does it ever surprise you, or you're like, yeah, this is the kind of child we are raising, so this is supposed to happen.
Um, so I don't think anything she does surprises me anymore. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's the advantage of having an outspoken and independent thinking child. Um, can't really think of anything that stumps me as such.
That's that's good to hear, I think, because I think what it's like, on a very serious note, what it signals is that you know your child so well that nothing she does or says kind of really surprises you anymore. So that's a very, that tells me so much about you and your parenting style, Sumit. Like, really.
I think more than that, Neha, it's also the fact that we have so many conversations about so many different topics. So it could be, I mean, conversation about war. She's been wanting to know what exactly or who exactly are people who have no gender.
Mm,
And we also have, I mean, we've, I think, successfully shattered some gender norms in our own house.
mm,
And even basic things like she knows that, I mean, a man can have long hair.
yeah.
Mm. There's no external marker uh, that boys are supposed to do this, girls are supposed to do that
Mm,
kind of thing.
mm,
So we've seen, we watch women's sports on TV at times. So she knows that women can and do play cricket, football, etc. There's no limit as such.
yeah.
Plus, luckily, I've got friends who are very strong feminists as well. So she does get a steady diet of books. Like there's a book she's particularly fond of. It's called Stories of South Asian Supergirls.
Mm,
So it's got stories that she can relate to. It's got folks like Amrita Shergill and Kalpana Chawla and so on and so forth.
yeah, 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 yeah. That makes me think that, what would you say to another father who's listening today and finds himself in a similar situation, and maybe, working from home and taking on more the day-to-day parenting? What would you tell him?
Mhm. I think I would just say that it's a very satisfying journey to not only watch, to actually help your child grow up, to build that relationship of trust. Um, and I don't think there's anything more beautiful than having a child who implicitly trusts you, who
Hmm.
can share their deepest, darkest ideas or thoughts with you, knowing they will not be judged, knowing they'll not be scolded.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
of course, you will also build a healthier relationship with your partner because your partner knows they're not the one shouldering a disproportionate amount of work when it comes to parenting
Hmm.
or when it comes to the household in general.
Hmm. 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 And Sumit, tell me, is there something about fatherhood that's we still don't talk about enough? Do you think?
Hmm. I think fathers are supposed to be these stoic unemotional kind of characters, the unflappable ones we see based on movies from our times growing up, where if a father is emotional, the father cries in a corner when no one's watching, or doesn't cry at all and keeps their deepest thoughts to themselves. So I think it's perfectly fine for a father to express emotion as well, um, and to especially to tell their child that they love them. I don't think it's been the norm so far, but it really should be.
Hmm, hmm, hmm. Talking of that, did you ever imagine that you will be this kind of father, or did your role and your personality in that sense kind of evolved through the journey?
Honestly, I had no idea what kind of a father I would be.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it still is an evolutionary journey. I'm still learning, and the good thing we've got going in our house is that um, Samia is free to call out if she doesn't agree with something that I'm doing,
Hmm.
or if she thinks um, I'm being unreasonable or something of that sort. So she has a voice. There's no, I've got gray hair and I'm older than you, so you should be listening to me.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And and tell me, what do your parents think of this whole arrangement? Are they proud of you?
I don't really know. I think we haven't spoken of this in a lot of detail. I think they kind of, again, I don't really have evidence to say this, but I think they probably feel that I'm shouldering more than what I should be doing. I mean, typical the
Yeah.
fact about, for example, in her house, my mom still is reluctant for me to pick up my own dishes after I've eaten. So I
Hmm.
really have to insist. In Kirti's house, again, the same thing. So I make it a point to ensure that I pick up not only my plate, but hers or Samia's as well, to just highlight that point that there's no division of labor in that sense that uh, only people from one gender can pick up plates, let's say.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And I think I want to ask you my last question for today. If you were sitting across your pre-parent self, pre-Samya self, the person who used to fly out in and out consistently and constantly for your work, if you could sit across from him, what would you tell him today?
So I'd probably tell him to be more supportive during the journey of pregnancy and also postpartum. So
Hmm.
I think men in general are completely clueless in terms of how a woman's body and mind deals with the pressures of carrying a life inside them, and also right after delivery, because especially say a C-sec is it's a full-blown surgery if you take a baby out of the equation, and if you think of just the surgical procedure itself, if anyone were to have that kind of a process, you would focus your complete time and attention on that individual.
Yeah.
Here, the focus shifts very rapidly to the new arrival in the family. You're all celebrating this and that, and there's one poor little individual in extreme pain, um, and in maybe some kind of emotional trauma who you don't check in with enough.
Hmm.
So I think what I would say to my past self, and maybe to folks like me who will be on this journey in the future, is that keep talking to your partner, be available for them, figure out what their going through as well. So parenthood is not only about caring for the new life, it's also about being supportive and telling your partner that you're on the same side as them.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. I think that's such an important thing to say. Sumit, thank you for sharing your perspective today. I think conversations like this are important because they expand what parenting can look like in this world. And I really, really valued our time together. And thank you for talking about things the way you did.
Thank you so much, Neha. It was good to be able to think about some of these things, and I do hope that we, I mean, in an ideal world, we should not have to have these conversations at all.
Yeah, yeah. Here's hoping. And to everyone listening, thank you for spending this time with us. If this conversation resonated with you, please share it with someone who might appreciate it, another parent, a friend, or a family member. You can also follow Parenthood with Neha, subscribe to the podcast, and leave us a review. Your support helps these stories reach more people. Until next time, this is Neha Garg signing off. Take care. Bye bye.